Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. What you're looking at is this series called AD Kingdom and Empire. It's something new that came on Netflix. I happened to catch it. It caught my eye last night, but I didn't watch it last night. I actually finished watching it a little while ago, and as soon as I threw it on, I was in the living room, and Apostle Gabar had came downstairs, and we ended up watching the first episode of season 1. Now, this series is, after the death of Yahushua and what Peter, the Apostle Peter, and the other apostles were doing after that. But they show you the crucifixion, and everything that led up to it, and then after the Yahushua was crucified. Now, they keep in mind they got this character here playing the Lord. He's a white-looking dude. I believe he might be from Spain. He has like a Spanish last name. But what I wanted to point out in this series is that they brought out some truth about about the what the disciples, some of the disciples look like. Of course they had Peter looking like a white dude and all that, but I don't really want to play this because I don't know if this will pick up on the algorithm, and then they'll give me another strike, because I already can't go live on this channel. I actually got another channel called GMS Info Doc Channel 12, so I'm gonna have to start pushing that, and hopefully I could start going live on that channel whenever it's available. But nevertheless, I'm gonna try to hit some of this or move, because this is when he was being crucified. You had Mary out there. They, of course, they had a white woman playing Mary. I'm right here. It's just supposed to be his mother, Mary, which she wasn't a white woman. And then I didn't realize who this woman was, or this man here was. But I said, damn, they got Jakes, in the midst of Israel, And then come to find out that as it went along, as everything went along, and Peter came to the house. This is around the 24-minute mark. Around here, they were speaking, and then they showed him, because I had the subtitles on Peter, and then they said John. I'm like, John. So they had this man here play the Apostle John, and I was surprised that they allowed that to come out, because it's to the point now where everything is being made manifest, and the truth is coming out, but they can't let all of it out, but slowly but surely things are coming out. Now, I looked up the characters of AD Kingdom and the Empire cast. Now, this is the guy that played the Lord, Juan Pablo de Pace, so he's probably from Spain. He might be a Jake. And this woman here played Mary Magdalene, Chipo Chung, even though she got a Moabite last name, but she's of a darker hue. And Mary Magdalene was a dark-skinned woman. She was a so-called black woman. And as you look through here, Babu Sise, the Apostle John, a Jake, and as I was continuing on looking through here towards the end, which, we know that this is just like some type of fabrication, but we don't know exactly how it went down. But when the Roman soldiers were guarding the tomb, and Caiaphas' men were guarding the tomb, there was a ray that came down from heaven, and this ray that came down from heaven appeared up here, as you can see. What is this? I'm just trying to get it without. There you go. And they showed a black angel, so-called black angel, even though he didn't have no beard on his face. But they're coming out and bringing out some truth, because through the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, we've been out there for the longest pushing this word out, and it's to the point now where they can't keep certain information back anymore, So we were watching it, and Apostle Gabar said he was going to do a video on it. So I decided, to do a video myself, because that's why I was watching it, to see if there was anything that I can bring out. So this is Daniel 12:4. It says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end." So we're at the end time right now. The end, when all these prophecies are being fulfilled and things are happening. And these devils, since we've been out there teaching this word, and this word is banging on them, this is just the same thing that was going on back during the time of when the Lord was on the scene. Because even when you watch this first episode, the reason why they crucified him was because he was gaining the support of Israel, as being the Messiah, and they were saying that this thing was stirring up too much trouble. It was stirring up trouble for the Romans. It was stirring up trouble for the Sanhedrin. It was stirring up trouble for everybody. So they were trying to quiet it down, and that's the same thing they're trying to do now. They're trying to quiet this truth down, but they can't, because we're at the time of the end. "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And that's what's happening. The knowledge is being increased. Why? Because the Lord is opening up the floodgates of truth now. This is 2 Ezra 6:25. "Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world." And this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the end of this age, this eon, the rulership of Esau, the so-called white man. And we're at the very end of Esau. And Esau, the so-called white man, would be the last ruler on the planet to be ruling before the Messiah made his second coming. This is the 6th verse. "Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by no other." Because when you read from the beginning of this chapter, it speaks about the beginning. It speaks about how the earth was made. I'll read the first verse. "And he said unto me, In the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, forever the winds blew." And it goes on to go into the story of the creation and everything that happened, and how people were put on the earth. And then he said, "Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. Because the Most High is the one that gave the blueprint. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other." So just like it had a beginning, it has an end. Because the kingdom that's coming is going to be established upon righteousness. These kingdoms and these empires that have ruled the earth all the way from the creation have all been wicked. But this kingdom that's coming is going to be a righteous kingdom. So this is going to be the first time, really, technically, in the history, that there's going to be an actual righteous kingdom upon the earth, run under righteousness, not like it was in the past where wickedness existed all over the place, even though you had righteousness. This is going to be total righteousness, and the other nations, when they go off, they're going to be dealt with, but all Israel will not go off. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the time?" So when are these things going to happen? When is it going to be the time when you're going to bring this end? "Or when shall be the end of the end of this first world, this wicked world, and the beginning of it that followeth?" Okay. "And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau." And that's why the Most High made the promise through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because that was the him establishing who his covenant or who his inheritance was going to be on the earth, which is the Israelites. Okay. And then it says, "Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world." And when you look up this word "world" here in the Latin, it's the word "secular," which is equivalent to the Greek word "eon," which is also equivalent to the to the Hebrew word "iwalam," which means an age, uninterrupted rule, a certain period of time. So whenever any empire ruled, they ruled for an age, for a certain period of time, an uninterrupted rule. So it says, "For Esau is the end of this world," and Esau is the end of the world, because at the end Esau would be ruling, and there will be the last kingdom that'll be ruling, that will be taken down. That's why when you read the book of Revelation, it speaks about a scarlet colored beast. It speaks about the beast being red.